Welcome everyone to our client success panel. My name is BX. I will be the moderator for the space. With us, we have some very lovely and amazing folks. So right here we have Opulence. We also have Kiara. We also have Zami. And then last but not least, we have Kenneth Davis. So just in a few moments, they're gonna be able to share a little bit more about themselves as they answer the first question. So I'm gonna kick us off with the first question. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
All right. So what inspired you to start your entrepreneurial journey and to join Speaking for Profit to aid in that journey?
I felt inspired to join Speaking for Profit because of one, Evolve Benton. At the time, I mean, even now, very well hydrated on the Zoom screen. They were glistening. I was like, I need to get in this energy. And I joined in the beta cohort, and I just will never forget Evolve looking at me and saying, the price is going to go up and this is going to change lives. And I had that COVID unemployment and I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. But I'd always been trying to launch my own something. I'm the child of a mattress store owner. My dad has owned a mattress store for 30 plus years. And I'm also someone that I'm magical, but I need to be treated very well. And the modern day workplace does not know how to treat me well. So I knew I needed to create my own setting to really be successful.
That's right. I would say that I started because I wanted to have control over how I did my life and where I was exerting my energy. I was feeling very out of control in the work that I was doing. And so for me, it was really being able to create the thing I wanted to, the world I wanted to live in the way that I wanted to be in the world. And I'm trying to be financially independent, and I'm not trying to work. As y'all already told y'all earlier, I'm trying to be out of this soon. So I was trying to get some more money so that I could get there faster. So that's me.
Hello, everyone. So again, my name is Zami Hemingway. I'm the CEO and founder of Spitty Tooth Wellness. And part of the reason why I signed up for Speaking for Profit was honestly because I wanted to invest in my friend. I began my journey as a personal trainer and a social worker. I was running LGBTQ youth centers and doing personal training also. And Evolve was one of my first paid personal training clients. And I knew that my approach to health and wellness, my approach to life and really investing in my community was all about wanting to create a world where trans and non-binary folks and queer folks of color, particularly Black queer folks who were assigned female at birth, where we were able to thrive and we were able to feel strong in our body, be present in our body. And I knew I would be able to help save lives. And because Evolve was one of my first clients and invested in me, when Evolve called me, I had already moved from the Bay, was living in Phoenix, Arizona at the time. Evolve called me, told me about it. To be 100% honest, I didn't hear nothing that Evolve said other than the fact that Evolve was starting this thing and wanted to know if I was interested in supporting. And for me, I was like, this is my homie, this is my family, this is my friend who invested in me when I was starting. Absolutely. I just need to check in with my partner at the time because that's the type of partner I am before I do a big investment. But I knew I was going to do it. So it was more about trying to talk about how to convince my partner at the time to be okay with it. But that's honestly why I signed up for it, because I just believed in Evolve and wanted to also support someone who has supported me.
Hey everybody, so I am the CEO and founder of the award-winning branding company, The Trans Capitalist, and I already had a strong foundation within my business because there was nobody that looked like me that was Black, trans, and talk about money and business. So as I wanted to make that leap to the next level, and I saw Evolve was doing things, and I just talked to Evolve just about speaking. Evolve's like, nah, I got something different for you. You're a different creature. So I was just like, all right, okay, let's talk. And then after that, we was able to make that jump and do some great things together. So I was happy that I started that process and was able to get that help and guidance to take me to the next level that I wanted to reach.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Y'all see we got a powerful panelist group, don't we? Okay. Next question. Can you share a memorable moment or breakthrough you experienced during the program?
Yes,
Yes.
very memorable moment. When I first did the cohort program, I think I got intimidated by the idea of having to speak publicly. Not so much that. I can see myself on stage. I'm very comfortable here. But it was more like getting together the leads and all this other stuff. I just didn't. So I said, you know what, Evolve, thank you for all this advice. I'm going to go. And I'm just going to focus on individual clients. Then through the free Facebook group, I got a contract with this one that was very abundant, very aligned. At that time, I was struggling a lot, not just to make a living ethically with individual clients, but also I was marketing things I didn't really want to do, and then the marketing would work, and then I'd have all this work I didn't actually want. I can be a grant writer, but I don't want to write grants. But that's what I was getting caught up in. And so I did have this big breakthrough moment where I was like, okay, I need to challenge myself, and I also need to stop trying to sell like 500 things at once and just figure out what is that one thing I actually want to do, and just use the formulas that Evolve gives. Because Evolve will give you a script, and it's an incredible script, but it doesn't work if you try and shove 3 things into the script, which I was perpetually doing. So that was my big breakthrough.
I think that mine came right after being in the beta program. We actually had just got married, and we were on our honeymoon, and a lead that I had been working, they were ready to go. And they said, I think we started at 75K, and I've never seen. I was like, oh, well, yes, how do I do this? Like, what do I need to do? And I already had so many tools and resources from Evolve, so that helped me set that up and get them ready for that. And in that moment too, having kind of their coaching support to be able to really bring it in and make it happen. And then was able to have an amazing connection with the dream team, which is Opulence and Rowan. And we over-delivered. They loved it. We added more on to that contract, and I was able to actually pay my folks properly. So that was what was a huge breakthrough for me. It was oh, this actually works. I can do this. We can get this money. And how much more can I get?
So for me, similar to Kiara, my breakthrough happened right after the beta program as well, around the same time that they were on the honeymoon, because we talked about it a little bit at their wedding. But so my background is also gender affirming care and health promotion. And I was a contractor for a couple different health departments and organizations doing gender affirming care work and education and training. And one of my smaller contracts had a position open for a project manager position. And for me, one of the biggest things that Speaking for Profit really helped me with was leaning into my destiny around, I know I'm supposed to be in the front, and for me to stop shying away from that. I keep finding myself in leadership positions, and then I find a reason to leave it, and then my ancestors and Arisha put me right back into them. And so I was like, Speaking for Profit taught me just accept my destiny and know that I'm gonna honor it, and honor my ancestors by doing that. And so a project manager position opened up at a contract that was a smaller contract for me. Initially, I was one of their identity consultants. And the first time that position was open, I knew that the directors wanted me to have it, because they're like, do you know anyone? Are you interested? And I was like, oh, I'll let you know if I know anybody. Completely ignored the fact that they asked me if I was interested. Then it came back, and one of my friends said to me, who's also been a spiritual elder of mine, said to me, your ancestors keep sending you blessings, and you're allowing them to bounce back. And they said, blessings is coming back to you. And I was like, okay. I was in a horrible position in my 9-to-5. And then the project manager position opened up again. They told us about it. When we got off the phone, I text the person, the manager in charge of it, and I was like, hey, I'm interested. He called me. He said, you're my ideal candidate. I'm so happy that you want this. Let's get on a call so we can officially offer it to you. And that was my first 6-figure contract. And it happened right after Speaking for Profit. So.
I would say so I always wanted an empire, and and it's hard to find people who have an empire, but we Evolve, I saw the vision, but they saw the vision in me, in my empire, and it's hard because sometimes in community, not many people share resources or teach you what you need to do to get through it. But Evolve held my hand and was like, if you want your empire, this is how you do it. And we were able to do it. So building out my YouTube, my podcast, production, just all these different projects coming back to back to back to back, and SEO being number one. So just my breakthrough, and even my wife and family or friends are just I see you everywhere now. You're doing the thing. And usually it's hard for your own family and friends to admit that you're doing the thing. So for me, that was my biggest breakthrough of getting that recognition, not from others, but when people truly see you and they see your vision and see how far you've gone, that's how I know I'm successful and I'm making it and I'm building it and it's coming. So.
Thank you. Give it up for our panelists and those amazing responses. I just want to highlight, I'm sure y'all picked up on it, but breakthroughs and Speaking for Profit shows up in so many different ways for our clients. Sometimes it's through their confidence, sometimes it's through their price, sometimes it's even through just finding that signature talk and going for it, right? So just knowing that a breakthrough can show up for us in so many different modalities. So thank you for that. Next question, how is your income, which y'all have kind of touched on this, how has your income or financial situation changed as a result of the program?
I can share that my income is growing exponentially each year. And it's so exciting because I know that the business is not done growing yet. And the other thing I'm very grateful to for Speaking for Profit is giving me the wisdom to have wise strategy. So not just taking cheap contracts out of scarcity, but really holding out for aligned clients, creating the capacity. And then I'm just grateful that I know I have so much clarity around my marketing strategy, where before that I didn't really understand any of that. So very grateful for that and very grateful for the encouragement to get a team to really help the income triple and double.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I first started, I was being offered $500 and, whatever people could do, and working at, supporting higher education, a little rough sometimes, as my higher education people know. The budgets being thin and slim, but it was a great place for me to start. It was a great place for me to practice and to get my voice out there. And even from that, I find that I am not the biggest marketer. I am not the person who is doing all the lead things I need to. I know I need to, and I know it could be way more abundant if I did. But because of the ways and the places that I showed up, my names was in the right rooms. And that's really what was the solidifier for me to have and get the really big bags. My largest contract has been almost $200K, and for a very short period of time and not a lot of work. And like I told y'all, look, I'm gonna keep telling you, we're trying to get these Eastful Abundance bags, okay? In that contract that I got, the person came to me and they said, yeah, this person told me about you. And let me tell y'all, I do not know that person. I don't know who that person is. They told me their name. I'm I cannot think of where I would have engaged with you. I really don't know. But my name was in the right place, and they brought that into that conversation. I was in the right place and connected and over-delivered. I think that that's the key, is I know I over-delivered, and people were like, you need to have Kiara in this space. So I want to encourage folks, if you're doing nothing else, make sure when you are out there and you're having your voice heard that you're over-delivering, because the right people will hear you. and they will connect you with the other right people who will get you connected with the money, okay? And that's what we want. So keep over delivering. But yeah, for me, that was like the financial change and shift. I went from them $500 engagements to then needing teams and hiring on folks to do this work together. And that's all I want, so that's me.
Yeah, so I'll give some concrete numbers as well. So when I first started Spitty Tooth Wellness, I think my first year I made about $10K for Spitty Tooth Wellness. My business has been an LLC, I want to say going on 6 years now. Time's been crazy with COVID. And so I think going on 6 years now, Spitty Tooth Wellness has been an LLC. So first year made about $10K. After that, made about 15 or 20K. After speaking for profit in the last 2.5 years, Spitty Tooth Wellness has brought in a little more than $500,000. And so my first six-figure contract was about 225 or 230K was my first six-figure contract. Last year we brought in around the same amount. This year I'm not a contractor because they couldn't afford me anymore, but they offered me a position to be a manager, so I still make six figures. And I was trying to buy a house. I bought the house, so it was a good strategic move to become a 9-to-5 again, but I still run my business. Yeah. And so, it's really important to really just move in confidence and trust your destiny, in all honesty. Yes. For me, a lot of my work was for me personally, my inner work was trying to stop running away from the fact that is my destiny to be in positions of leadership, is my destiny to help my community heal and be well, and stop running from my destiny. And when I lean into my destiny, I lean into what my ancestors have told me I'm placed on this planet to do, then I bring abundance and I experience abundance and wealth, and it does come easily. You know, in the past 2 years, was able to bring in $500,000 when I used to be a social worker, making $10K on the side, making $20K as a social worker, to now bringing in the amount of money that I bring in and being able to support my family, my loved ones, my spiritual community, etc. And so it really made this shift, not only in my life financially, but I've been able to be a blessing to other people, because through that money and through my current position, I also contract other people in my community to help them become financially free. And I mentor other folks in my community so that they could become financially free. And so to me, that's the real shift financially, is that I'm able to help others become financially free. And it's not just about generating my own wealth.
Exactly. That part.
Get it.
Come on.
So I would say, well, we was probably working together maybe 4 months or something like that. And within this past quarter, what I made all of last year, I made in 1 quarter, and it's still going. I was able to take off Pride Month, so I don't have to work for that.
Yes.
The entrepreneur journey can be hard, so I was able to take out my wife vacations and pay for everything for her, for being very patient within my journey. And for that, it's just growing. And now, I will be inducted into a museum in Washington, D.C. for helping the community get their own American dream. So just doing all those things, and then working with people off of Shark Tank in the community, helping their businesses grow and making that a premier product. So now usually I used to do everything, just grabbing to say yes, $200 here, $100 there. Now I say no, and now I probably just usually do 10 clients or less a year, and that suffices. And I'm just happy. Everything else is a bonus and excess. So thanks to Evolve, I do not have to work as hard like I always wanted to, because I also have sickle cell anemia. So for people with that and a disability, it's a blessing not to stress about money whatsoever ever again. So I'm very appreciative.
Thank you for those amazing responses. Again, I want to go back to our theme for today, manifesting abundant pathways. I think we just heard about 4 of them, and I know there's so many more in the audience.
Yes.
So just continue to think about the ways that you can manifest that abundance in your life. Your price right now, we hope, is not your price next year, right? It needs to go up, right?
It
And
won't.
maybe even next month. You're probably hearing some stuff and you like,
Tomorrow.
there you go.
Tomorrow.
Go up,
Yeah.
right?
Come
You
on.
know?
Say it again.
Say it again.
Say it
Yesterday's
again.
price is not
Not
today's price.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Next
right.
hour.
Yesterday's
Okay,
price, not
thank
today.
you. So we have 2 more questions that I have scripted here, and then we're going to open it up to the audience for you all if you have any questions. So start thinking about some. Next question for our panelists. How has your confidence and skill set improved since joining Speaking for Profit University?
I love this question. And I know we're all loving on Evolve and how transformational Evolve is.
Yes.
But I also just want to celebrate all of you, the Speaking for Profit community.
Yes.
Because it's not just Evolve, it's all of us coming together and really making this magic.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, as you've heard, I kind of, after the cohort, I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. And what I really needed to do was figure out my messaging, but it took me a little while, right? But, you know, I was witnessing people who I was in the cohort with just do incredible things and make incredible money. And then when I got brought into that, when I was able to assist with that, it really blew my mind. And it really, like, you know, watching Zami, Kiara, India, Miss Jai, like watching all of these people come back and share their wins, I was like, oh, this is real. This is possible. And I think that we live in such a dystopic society where, I mean, the oppression is real and it often feels like I'm always on the losing end. So to realize like, oh, wow, I don't have to stay in this position and it's not a scam. These are real people I know that are really getting this money and are sharing opportunities with me. It not only built my confidence, but I think it kind of saved my life a little, you know, because it can get very depressing. And so then I think it's been powerful for me to watch myself, like push myself to go through the journey and to now see my community kind of turning to me and being like, what are you on? Like, I've never heard of a consultant actually being successful in this way. So
Facts.
love that.
Yes. Right. Everybody a
Facts.
consultant. Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, what is coming up for me is when Evolve talks about like Beyonce and how Beyonce does the same songs. We're gonna hear them same songs each time, right? We're gonna add in some new ones, but you're gonna hear the old ones. And that is where I lean into. I love talking about the same things, doing it in the same way. We were just talking about the repertoire, like just going through the Rolodex, like what is in there? What do we need to pull out? Okay, like that's something that I know I can speak about, right? And so, and I can also develop that into different ways of talking about that and focusing on different parts of it. So I think that has been really helpful in my confidence. When I had nerves and like was scared about speaking, it was because I wasn't clear about what I was gonna talk about. But once I got clear about that and I started talking, I've just been practicing it over and over and over and over again, and then I get paid for that practice because that is the game now. So I would just I'm leaning into my Beyonce in all the ways. As y'all heard, I'm that girl. So.
So I will say it was more about my mindset around worthiness. So people who like know me in my personal life know that I'm a Pisces and confidence isn't necessarily an issue I have in my personal life. You know, my ancestors knew what they was doing. I was, you know, and so it wasn't necessarily that, but it was my belief, my internal narrative around my worthiness and my work. And so like I knew like when I was in front of a client, I was very confident. Like there's some clients in this room who worked with me. I was very confident. I knew what I was doing. Couldn't tell me anything, you know, like, I mean, you could, but like, you know what I mean? I wasn't lacking confidence around my work. It was the lack of feeling I was worthy to ask for my price. And that's what needed to shift for me, because I had to heal that relationship with money, had to heal that relationship with the narratives around worthiness to ask for my price, to ask for what I thought I really should be getting. And it was actually my clients that kept telling me, you should be charging more. My individual clients kept telling me I should be charging more. When I would do speaking engagements, my clients were like, we don't ever have someone pay you this amount again. It should be more.
Yes.
Every single time it was other people reminding me that what I was providing was worth much more than what I was actually charging. And so that was what shifted for me, my belief and my internal narrative, and having to heal that narrative around my worthiness, around my medicine and what I was offering people. And once that narrative started to shift for me, the confidence that I already had in my personal life and other things started to shine through. And when I say, you want this 60-minute workshop from me, it's $6K, I don't blink an eye.
Yes.
$6K, virtual.
Right.
If you
whoa.
want virtual. If you want me to be in person, that's extra $2K because of COVID.
Yep.
So
Plus travel.
Facts.
And accommodations, all of it, yes.
And everything.
Yes, everything. And meals, and per diem.
I would definitely say like the group helped me recognize my power and to like sit and stand into it, especially dealing with finances, and especially with finances in the LGBT community. Like sometimes people are just like, oh, how do you work with people who don't have it? Or like, are you supposed to charge? Can you charge? And you have that heart tug, right? But you gotta get to a point where you gotta think about yourself and recognize your power and what your product is, and you believe in that.
Yeah.
And being with the group, that helped release me, I would say, because then I was able to like, feel myself and be like, yo, I do help people with their finances. I have 100% client success rate. And it's just like, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And Evolve was able to help foster that. And then being around the group, as Opulence said, like people are doing dope shit as well. And it's just like, it's okay to flex because you have to let them know, like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you need them to believe in you as well. But the only way they're going to do that if you believe in yourself first. Mm-hmm. So for myself, having that confidence, and then also with the charging as well. Like now, everybody knows you're not getting me outside unless there's business or a bag associated with it. And there's no guilt behind it whatsoever. And then also charging the price I'm worth for the work that I am and the work that I produce will be fully recognized by the corporations, organizations, and people now. Now that is my reputation. And it's kind of funny too when you hear it, when people are like, oh, you need Kenneth, you know you got to pay, right? And so it's just like, I like that feeling. Yeah. Yes, you do have to pay for me. I'm tired of doing stuff for free like I used to running around on social media, because like you'll see on social media people with big numbers, which I had to learn as well, who have like 100K followers, whatever, they're struggling.
Yeah.
They don't have the money. They're like working 3 to 4 jobs to get by. And for me, it's just like, I don't got to do that. And I'm very thankful because that is a very stressful life. And my life is stress-free from that. Yeah. And having the confidence behind that to back my work is priceless. And so I'm very thankful that I have that energy to go forth in the world, because in entrepreneurship, you need that energy if you want to be successful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm hearing a lot about boundaries. Y'all didn't say it, but that's what I was hearing. Boundaries around your price, boundaries around what you need to be successful, boundaries even for yourself, right? What does that look like? So thank you so much for that. Last question, then we're coming to y'all, so I hope y'all are ready. How do you see your career evolving in the next 5 years, and what role will the lessons from Speaking for Profit play in that evolution?
Another excellent question.
Yeah.
Great, that's an amazing one.
They're all of them.
I'm happy I'm last.
Yes. Well, okay, I'm happy I'm first because I want to name something, which is when we start planning and speaking things in, what we say is going to happen in 5 years sometimes happens in 6 months.
Come on.
So I'm going to put a little plan out there, but it might happen tomorrow. I don't know. The future is filled with unlimited possibility, y'all. And when we start drawing in and naming the possibilities we want to tend to and come true, sometimes it just bursts forth. And Evolve always reminds me not to be logical with money, because money is magical.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that I'm dreaming of a future. literally, since being speaking for profit, I'm just like, oh, I have to love what I do every day, because these actions are building momentum, and the scale is just going to expand as I live my life. So what I want my life to look like in 5 years, it should look similar to today. And so I foresee a life where I'm in community, where my work is respected. I want to pull together some stages. I think in the next, definitely in the next 6 months, I'm right now building my capacity as a conflict navigator. I'm bringing in people to facilitate with me. I'm training folks. So that all is very exciting. I think in 5 years, I see myself with a talk show, on network television, honestly.
Hey, get it.
And I see these ideas around conflict navigation just being almost household ideas. And I see us as a society transformed by these ideas and just more able to talk to each other. But I see Speaking for Profit as the people I'm gonna literally co-work there with. I'm gonna co-work, write that book with Kenneth every Monday morning. And I also see Speaking for Profit as being a space where I collaborate with folks, where I bring people onto my team, where I get feedback for the ideas. So that's where I'm going, y'all.
Yes.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm so excited. 5 years from now, can y'all guess it? I don't know. We're gonna be resting, okay? Honestly, what I truly wanna do is just host rest retreats and pay people to be able to come to a rest retreat, so that you don't have to worry about the work, the child care, all the things that are a barrier for you to actually come and receive and just take care of yourself. I really want that for myself. So ideally, I will be financially independent. I'm not ideal. It will be happening. We'll be financially independent, and I will just be kind of giving from my heart and soul, and not from the intention of trying to make money, because I'll have what I need. And then again, paying people. That's really what I want to do. I just want to pay our folks and take care of us so that we can live abundantly and rested. So, yeah.
I'm ready.
Yep. We going together. My twin flame.
Twin flame. Okay. So in 5 years, I would say that Spitty Tooth Wellness will in 5 years, Spitty Tooth Wellness will have opened its second wellness space, or wellness center. My goal is to open a wellness center called Sacred Wellness Center, and I am planning on opening them across the U.S. as well as overseas, so that and have them strategically placed in communities that have Black and Brown folks, because we live in care apartheids, and we need to address that. And so intentionally building sacred wellness spaces in neighborhoods that have care apartheids, where people are able to come, grow their own food, care for their bodies, have access to indigenous medicines. Indigenous medicines meaning any traditional medicine from the African diasporic tradition, or any traditional medicines that come from that person's background. Folks will be able to have access to therapy. People who are struggling with finding jobs will get access to free computers so that they can actually look for jobs, and they will get coaching for employment coaching for free. And people who cannot afford membership, they will get free membership through actually working in the garden, so that the community garden feeds the neighborhood. And so in 5 years, 2 sacred wellness centers is the goal and what I'm manifesting. And for us to go from having one retreat a year, one wellness retreat a year, to having a wellness retreat every quarter. And so at least 3 to 4 wellness retreats every single year, so that folks can come. And my goal is at least one of those retreats are free as well. So maybe you could host one of your retreats at a sacred wellness location.
Yes. Yes. Love it. Collabs. We always collabing. Yes.
And then the last thing or final thing that I'll share that I'm manifesting, because you're not supposed to share everything that you're manifesting out loud. Let's just put that out there. But for the last thing I'll share is that for myself to be able to just facilitate the retreats and coach other people on how to run the sacred wellness sites so that we're building up leadership in our communities that are Black, brown, trans, queer, non-binary, etc.
Sure.
This is kind of hard because like some of the things I've already achieved. So like being in Forbes twice, that was pretty dope.
Come on, twice.
Like time.
Right.
No, I'm playing. But kind of like following the Jay-Z model. Like I'm not a business, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
So for trans capitalists, definitely train other financial literacy consultants where they can go off and teach more of the community. I'm only one person, so expanding the team for sure. Buying more businesses, acquiring them, helping more trans businesses, and then most definitely philanthropy for sure. My wife and I, that is our major goal, to really help fund some Black trans businesses, because I always say like, was it LGBTQ $7 trillion industry buying power, and we only account for maybe 1%. So that really needs to tip the scales and change. So I'm going to do anything in my power to help people get their money right, build their businesses, and become financially independent as well, because it's needed. Yeah. So anything along those goals and lines. And S4P shall always be the foundation, where I want to teach people to have the same mindset on how to speak business, breathe business, because that's America's language, unfortunately. But we can break the system. So I want to be able to help facilitate the breaking of that system.
Yes. Okay. Come on.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Do we have one or two questions in the audience? Brave souls. Yes.
Hey, y'all. First off, thank you so much for imparting all of this knowledge to us. I feel particularly blessed because there's a lot of messaging here that I really just am realizing how much I stand in my own way and how much I need to get out of that, because then I can see myself sitting where you're sitting and saying the things that you're saying. Something that I have struggled with for the entirety of my life, but more recently, as I'm trying to figure it out, is like, what is my story? Being a multi-potentialist, being a multifaceted person. Like, how did y'all figure out what your story was, what your signature was out of the many narratives that you could have presented, and what influenced the ones that you chose? Like, was it the money? Was it the ease? Was it the connections that you already had in place? Like, how did you come to narrow in on what your identity was and your journey and your story that has led you to where you are now?
That's so good.
Excellent question. I would go, because I would definitely say for me it was purpose. I used to just always go after the money. So whatever was like the highest paying thing or what can bring me that, I would do it. But then I would say I would get bored very quickly. I would hate it. I would start to resent it. But once I found my purpose of what I'm supposed to be doing, and it was scary as hell as well, because it's just like, all right, you're the only one out there. You don't see anybody that looks like you, but you just know it needs to be you and it needs to help, because you can make a change in the world in that capacity. That instantly drove me. And that was able to help me make decisions as well. I'm a Libra, so it's hard to make decisions, but knowing that I'm helping somebody in that capacity was just like, oh, this is it. And when you know what it is, it hits you and it takes over your body. Like, I get chills when I'm helping somebody with their finances, to be like, I'm gonna get you right. Like, let's do this together. I'm in it with you. So for me, it was just like, okay, that's the story. And then on top of that, life experience. And that's what helped push me forward to know, okay, this is what I need to do. And then people will tell you as well too. Like, why are you not doing this? You're great at this. You're amazing. You should be doing this. Listen to those people. And if it's scary, that's how, for myself, I know I'm supposed to do it.
Very inspiring. Thank you, Kenneth. I have a lot of thoughts on this question because I struggled so much with it. And I'm just a little astrology flex, Jupiter, first house Leo. So a lot of ideas, possibility. I want to do it all. I can do it all. I'm so smart. Also, I'm South Asian. So from a young age, my dad was like, do whatever makes you money. So it's like, how do I clear that voice out? You know, there's always the temptation of like, can I be gay for pay? I see other people getting bags I could get. So I wanted those things. But here's what was helpful for me. When it comes to identifying purpose, realizing there's a lot of things I can do, but what am I meant to do? And I just had to look back on my life story. Yeah. I also just want to name, like, you know, in the stories for me, I started my business after Speaking for Profit. These guys had been working at it for a little while. And just to name, it does genuinely take time. And I think there's a special, like, finding traction is a stage of business, of like coming up with offerings, throwing them against the wall, seeing what you like, seeing if you actually like it. So when I was like, okay, I'm gonna work with conflicts and relationships, then it was like, am I working with couples? Am I working with communities? The other final piece of advice I have here is I kept looking for a center in my work that could include everything I did, and I knew that I help statement or whatever the messaging is, like I knew I could talk about everything if I just came back to whatever that center was. But when I actually found it, I realized it's not a center as much as it's an anchor. So I lead talking about conflict, but where I actually make my money is not through mediating conflicts, it's through doing trainings, right? And it's through talking about conflict and all these things. It just serves as an entryway and for a way to people remember me, but it's not even a quarter of what I do. You know, so you still get to be a multi-hyphenate. I mean, I'm a project manager. Everyone in this room knows I've managed a lot of projects in here, but it's not really in the messaging, right? And it's because some of what you do is going to happen organically in its own way. And I think the question is like, okay, so then what is the message you lead with? And how does that connect to your life story? And actually, shout out to Speaking for Profit. They have a lot of modules. And I remember one day I just sat down and went through all the messaging modules and brought a lot of clarity.
Yeah, I want to add something too. I'll go ahead and pipe in. I would say just like look back 5-10 years. What did you need at that time? What did that version of yourself need to hear, to know, to understand about the story at that time? You know what I'm saying? Being on the other side. And what is going to help you to continue to grow? What fills you up to talk about? You know what I'm saying? What pours into you? Because you don't want to be out here just because it's so engaging for everybody else. We're not trying to deplete ourselves either, talking about the worst of the worst of the worst of the things that are our personal traumas or things like that. You know what I'm saying? So finding those pieces that like, ooh, if somebody told me this when I was in that place, you know, and giving yourself that opportunity to reflect and do some sending back of the medicine as well. Mm-hmm.
Key and I are gonna have to do paper, rock, scissors so that we don't keep taking each other's thoughts.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. What I'll say is the one thing I'll add is do what also helps you heal.
Exactly.
And so, you know, and healing for you doesn't always have to be shared at the same time. So like, I used to be a writer, I used to be a performing spoken word artist, and after a while, it was like, my poetry is actually for me, you know. And so people kept trying to book me to do my poetry, and I was like, it's actually for my healing. But whenever I would see somebody heal through my wellness coaching, whether it was coaching in their office and helping them learn how to communicate, how to process their emotions, or watching people connect to their body and like have that breakthrough around whatever physical goal they had, whatever nutrition goal they had, whatever spiritual goal they had. Once I saw that was healing for me, but it was also healing for them. And I was like, I want to continue to share that healing. So what helps you heal, and what allows you to watch, and how do you heal when you see other people heal? And then that's the path that you go, in my opinion, because it's like you're healing and you're supporting others heal.
Sure. Wow. Okay.
Let's get you back your mind.
Yes.
I ain't gonna drop it though.
Right.
you know. But wonderful responses. Thank you, everyone. We are going to wrap up just for I see you, though. I see you. But our panelists are here. So please connect with them. Please chat with them. Also, if before you all leave and go back to all of our respective places, get their contact information, exchange, stay in communication, ask those questions. As you see, they're all powerhouses. So I just want to thank you all for everything that you all shared and all the experiences and stories that you shared with our audience. So give it up one more time for our panelists.
Yes.
Right.
And thank you, BX, for taking care of us,
Yes.
being our support as well through the
y'all.
journey. Yes.
I got y'all.